Hey guys, so this week we're gonna try something a little different. We asked you to send a couple of questions to us, some things that you would like us to answer on the different social media channels, and this week we're gonna answer them. We picked like 6 random questions so that the video is not too long, so we're gonna get right into it. So question number 1 was, Mike, what helps you make the right decisions in life? Okay, so that's a very, very big question, but couple of things I can say about it. Number 1, it's super important to be decisive. The biggest mistake that I see is not people choosing the right thing or the wrong thing, it's just people not being able to choose, and that literally freezes you, it doesn't allow you to move forward. So first of all, be decisive. Now, as to what helps me make a decision, there's a concept that I was taught when I was really young, and it's a concept, I think it's from the Talmud or something like this, and it's called the long short road. So the long short road concept is basically this: there's always 2 roads that lead in a certain direction. One of them is the long road. You have to work for it, you have to walk a lot, you have to do a lot to get to the other side. And one of the roads seems very, very short. There's like pieces of gold on it, there's things there, fresh berries, fruit, things that are attracting you to go to the short road. And in the end of the day, the short road is really a trap. It's something that seems like a shortcut for you to get where you're going, but it's full of obstacles, full of things that are going to tempt you and stop you from ever reaching the other side. And the long road, yes, it's a longer road, but it's usually a road with less obstacles, a road that doesn't require you to keep stopping every 5 minutes, and it's a road in the end will actually lead you where you want to go. So I was taught, when you make a decision, always look at it through this long short-term prism and try to look and take the road that may seem a little bit more complicated at first, but it's the proper way. It's the legal way, it's the correct way, it's the way that while might take you a little bit more time, it will cost you a lot less in the end, because you don't have to redo things, pay for something cheaper, get a terrible performance, having to redo it, pay someone else to redo the work that somebody did, and in the end of the day, spend more time, spend more money. So I guess that's the one thing that I use to make the right decision. I look at it as, what's the long road, but it's probably going to be the shorter road overall. I hope that's helpful. The second question, Mike, you run a digital marketing agency. Where do you get your motivation and creativity and inspiration from? Okay, that's it's a pretty cool question. Yes, we do. My partner and I have a digital marketing agency, mainly targeting hospitality. Where to get creativity? There's one thing that helps me, something that I learned early on. For example, if you want to get a creative idea for hospitality, try not to get it from hotel people. Or like when bankers trying to innovate while talking to other bankers, terrible things happen. So my biggest advice on that is, if you want to get creative, you want to get some inspiration for whatever your industry is, try not to get it from your industry, because a lot of the time, you've seen it all. When you go and try to get an idea from within your industry, you don't look at things critically, you don't notice some of the details because it seems like you already know the industry. Trying to adapt an idea from another industry into your industry, that very often causes real innovation. So my creativity is whenever when I work with a hedge fund, we're trying to get ideas out of the financial industry to bring into the financial industry. When we work for the digital marketing agency in hospitality, we're trying to look at what are some of the coolest ideas in other industry that we could use and adapt to the hospitality industry, and that's when cool things happen and really creative ideas come along. As for motivation, I think I spoke about it in some of my other videos. I'm a person that does not require any external factors for motivation. I'm just super motivated to be healthy, to be able to do business, to be able to wake up every day, love what I do, being able to have the freedom to create, to come up with new concepts, to work with people, to do sales, do creative, write copy, create cool 3D content, work with the hedge fund, all of these things, just being able to be in the position that I am, being able to do those things, being able to talk to you guys, to get questions and being able to answer, that's way, way more than enough to motivate me to go forward. So my motivation comes from inside, and I really recommend that you guys find a way to just motivate yourself every time that you need a little motivation. Okay, moving on. Third question: how to get rid of toxic people even though they are close to you? Okay, see, I see two ways of answering it. Maybe the first thing is actually I find a small problem within the question itself. When you say how to get rid of toxic people, means you still have toxic people around you, and the biggest recommendation I can give you is you don't owe anything to anyone, and you shouldn't keep anyone around you that doesn't help your cause, doesn't somehow bring you positivity. It doesn't even matter if it's friends, if it's relatives, if it's your parents. You don't owe anybody anything, and if anybody around you causes you stress or negative emotions, you just cut it off. You do not talk to these people. You don't have to cut them out of your life, but you just don't have to spend time with them. You don't owe them an explanation why you don't hang out with them, why you don't come to them for advice. You know, it's you. Do your thing, and don't feel like you're obligated to be with sort of anybody just because they're close to you. And the other thing, there's I think it was a Yiddish proverb, which was really cool, that says that when you get kissed by a thief, count your teeth. So I think that applies very much too, because you are your surrounding, you are your environment, and if you're around toxic people, regardless of whether you see it or not, their negative things, some of the things that they're doing, their toxicity rubs off on you 100%. You don't notice it, but you begin to sometimes mimic what they do, talk like they talk, and suddenly put a little bit of negativity into your own speech, into your own ideas. So my way of dealing with toxic people is just get rid of them and don't even think twice about it. Next question: what's the perfect work-life balance for you? Okay, that's a controversial question in my opinion. I'm a person that absolutely loves his work, or whatever you call it, work, hobby. I love what I do. I don't split my days into like family work because the work that we do is so non-standard. It's not like from 9 to 5 I work, from 5 to 7 I'm with the family. No, we work all the time. When we have to answer in the evening, we answer in the evening. We have to attend an event at night, we attend an event at night. We have to go somewhere early morning, we go somewhere early morning. So I don't look for that balance. What I did do, and what I really recommend that you do, is get your partner involved into what you do. I don't necessarily mean work for the business or be part of the business, but get him or her involved. Let them know what you're doing. Let them live it with you, and treat them really like a partner in the business, even though they may officially not be or not do any work. Treat them as a partner. Let them be proud of what you do. Let them know your accomplishments, things that you struggle with, and if they treat you like a partner, you'll find it a lot easier to spend much more time on your profession, on doing whatever it is you're doing. So I don't look for that balance. I do feel that like family is important, and the business is super important, and the business is very demanding. So I try to balance it, but when the business requires my presence, I'm there. The next question: can you start a business with no capital? Absolutely you can. I previously referred to the digital marketing agency. You know how that started? We sat down with a friend of mine who I knew for 10 years. I usually don't do business with friends, but this is a person that I completely trusted. We've been through hell and back together, so we knew that this is gonna work. And we said, listen, we have this idea, we know hospitality, let's do it. What do we need? Nothing. We need a phone. We need to learn a little bit about how the whole business works. We need to find some ideas, some people who we could do this for. It required zero capital. It just required research, our time, and a mobile phone. Same with this blog. When we developed what we started with the agency into this sort of blog and me doing these kind of videos, we just took a phone and we did it. Nobody showed us how to do it. Nobody told us how to do it. We took it and we did it. So the main challenge with starting a business is not so much capital, but it's being able to not just talk about it, but execute on it and see what happens next. My biggest advice for you, if you're starting a business with no capital, don't look for outlandish ideas that require a lot of capital, which you think you will find by just pitching it to somebody and they'll give you the money. No, try to look for something that you could do just by yourself with a simple sort of set of skills that you have, and start with sales. Start with seeing whether this idea that you have can generate you money. Start selling it before you even make it. If it's a product, go and sell the product before you even make it. Let people pay you a down payment in order to secure the first products that you make. If it's a service, see if there's any demand by actually telling people that if you buy now, I'll give you my service at a much better rate than it would be when I launch it live. So yes, you can do it. You need to be very, very self-motivated, to have some sort of skill set which is helpful to others, and you just need to get your move on and start working. That's all. It's absolutely doable. What are some mistakes you wished you could have avoided? Wow. I've done a lot of mistakes in my life. Probably one thing that I regret is that as I was growing up and trying to come up in business, I wasn't as focused as I am now. So I was trying to do very many things at once, start very many ventures at the same time, and thought that I can manage all of them. That's usually not the case. Business requires a lot of your time, especially when you start it. So yes, you can have a lot of businesses later on when they're in a further sort of growth stage, when the business is already quite mature and it's working every day. You don't really need to be present every day to solve some sort of problems. Then yes, you could manage a lot of businesses. But when you're just starting off, try to be really focused and concentrate on the business before you start another one. I think I had like 4 or 5 businesses at the same time, and they were all hurting because my time was split between them. That's number one. Number two, I spent the capital I earned in some of the businesses, and I sold a few startups very, very successfully. I regret spending some of that money the way I did, meaning, just splurge it on things that today maybe just laying in my cupboard, things that I just have standing that I don't use. I could have invested that money a little bit more wisely and have it produce more passive income, which is definitely the way that I approach things today. I have definitely trusted people a little bit too much and worked with people that I regret working with. Then again, it's a mistake that gave me a lesson, a priceless lesson, so I'm still very, very thankful for that. There's definitely more mistakes. There's mistakes that not that I made, but that I feel there's a few mistakes by me skipping something that I was offered, being able to do it back then, not believing in it enough and not doing it. So, it's a sort of a slippery slope. I talked to you about being careful about trusting people, but sometimes that has a negative effect. When you're too not trusting people, then you may skip some ideas that some people are starting, which could be very, very cool and good for you. So be careful about trusting people. That doesn't mean don't trust anybody and don't think that you have to do everything on your own. That's not the way it works. Some more mistakes that I can think of. Sure, it's not really a mistake, but I regret not starting certain things sooner, not educating myself about certain things sooner. I see there's so much happening in the digital space and the coding and so on that's not something that I learned. I went to, study business, hospitality, finance, and so on, things which are kind of changing slightly today. So it's not really a mistake, but I regret that I didn't study the sort of digital data kind of driven, the data-driven world that we have today. I would love to know a little bit more about it, and of course I still have time and I still learn every single day. And those were the 6 questions that we sort of randomly chose from the ones that you sent us. We have a lot more questions, so we definitely want to do this again. Feel free to send us even more questions, so next time we have even more new questions to choose from, not just the ones that we didn't answer today. I hope you enjoyed. Write in the comments. Write if you enjoyed it. Ask us a question, actually, write in the comments. If you feel like there's something you would like us to answer, just put it in the comment below. And if you have a different answer to one of the questions that was asked, different to what I answered, also comment below. Subscribe, hit the bell, and see you next week.